Hey, millionaire. We all know the same lottery winners have a natural talent for spending their money on some of the most ridiculous things possible. However, a select group has decided to spend their fortunes on some of the strangest and most unimaginable things. In this video, we are going to show you the craziest things lottery winners have spent their money on. Believe me when I say, you'll be shocked with number 1. And no, this is not just to get you to watch until the end, although that's a good idea, so stick around. Let's go. Number 10. On a female wrestling TV show. In 2008, Jonathan Vargas, a 19-year-old construction worker from Gaston, South Carolina, won the Powerball grand prize, netting a whopping $35.3 million. After becoming a winner, Jonathan bought his mother a new house and used part of his money to create his own television show, fulfilling the fantasy many teenagers have dreamed of. In 2009, he founded Wrestlicious with his partners Johnny Caffarella and Jimmy Hart. The company produced a wrestling television show called Wrestlicious Takedown, which featured scantily clad female wrestlers in comedy sketches. It wasn't the best of ideas, and it never made it to its second season. I guess he could have predicted the outcome after choosing such a classy name. Number 9. Building a water park. Cuddy and his wife Linda decided to donate a portion of their winnings to constructing a water park in honor of their parents after winning a share of $28.7 million on a $319 million Mega Millions jackpot in 2011. According to the Albany Times-Union, they contributed $200,000 to the construction of Spray Park in Green Island, New York. Number 8. Donating to politicians. After winning $18 million in 1993, Janet Lee, a South Korean wig maker, donated a large portion of the money to the Democratic Party. This landed her a spot on Bill Clinton's dining table. However, that wasn't enough to keep her fortune afloat. She turned out to be a little too charitable. Her donations, combined with a gambling addiction and credit card debt, led to her declaring bankruptcy in 2001. Number 7. On marijuana legalization. On November 13, 2012, Robert Bob Erb took home an incredible $25 million prize after winning the Canadian Lotto Max sweepstakes and began sharing his wealth with family and friends. But his kindness didn't stop there. As a marijuana activist and devoted smoker, he pledged $1 million to support the legalization of marijuana use. Just imagine what you can do if you had that kind of money. In just 1 year, Erb spent $125,000 to help organize 420-day events in honor of the famous holiday, organized by marijuana enthusiasts, where smokers from all over the planet gather on April 20th at 4:20 to light one up. As if that wasn't enough, $60,000 was spent designing the website for said events, $60,000 on lodging, $40,000 on merchandising, and about $20,000 on advertising. Now that's what I call passion. It seems like a dumb way to spend money, but before continuing, you tell me, what would you buy first if you suddenly won $25 million? Let us know your answer in the comments below. Number 6. On a loan. Not just any loan, though. Pay close attention to this one. Why would you need to take out a loan when you just became a multi-millionaire? That's what everyone wonders when they hear the story of Suzanne Mullins. Although Suzanne really needed the money when she took out a loan, we are still unsure why she managed to spend more than $48,000 a year if she already had another source of income. In 1993, she won $4.2 million, and her prize was divided into 20 annual payments. However, not long after Susan's win, her budget plans went south, leaving her out of pocket overnight. But Suzanne had a brilliant idea. She decided to take out a loan that would maintain her quality of life. She didn't decide to borrow from any lender, though. That's right, she decided to borrow from the same lottery that had made her a millionaire. After receiving her $198,000 loan, Susan could access all of her money thanks to a change in the lottery rules. Unfortunately, she wasn't smart enough about that money, and she ended up committing the reckless act of never repaying her debts to the town's lottery and never paying back the money she had borrowed. The company, of course, ended up suing the woman, and she tried to excuse herself by saying she needed the money to pay for treatment for a family matter. We doubt it did her any good. We're halfway there, so hang tight because you're about to see some crazy expenses. Number 5. On breast augmentation. When she was just 21 years old, Sarah Cockings won a £3 million jackpot from a UK lottery in April of 2005. And yes, she didn't miss the opportunity to squander her money. After spoiling her loved ones by buying her parents a gigantic house with 4 bedrooms, Sarah decided to give her sisters 2 gifts that would boost their confidence: breast augmentation surgeries at the modest price of £1,200 per boob. At least that's one gift you don't get every Christmas. I know that amount probably doesn't represent much of her total winnings, but yet, when she asked what she was spending her prize money on, that was part of the answer, so I thought it was worth mentioning. Number 4. Destroying their own vehicles. If you had the chance to go to a demolition derby, you'll know that organizing this kind of event isn't exactly cheap, especially as many of the vehicles there end up in pieces. A business that can pay off badly in the hands of an inexperienced young man who spends more money than he generates. In 2002, Michael Carroll became the winner of £9.7 million, or as I like to say, a whole lot of money. After winning the national lottery, the 19-year-old began living like a king, earning the endorsement of King of Chavs and the Lotto Lout. Carroll began spending his money at an alarming rate, squandering it on houses, cars, parties, drugs, and women. But if anything, it was the misuse of his vehicles that made him a household name after he destroyed most of the cars he had bought on a demolition derby, which he organized in his backyard. However, it wasn't the business that sunk the King of Chavs, but his very bad money management and terrible decisions, which led him to spend time behind bars twice. Now let's get to the good stuff. We're getting closer to that number one that will leave you completely speechless, so keep watching. Number 3. On compulsive gambling. If there's one reason that many big-time winners never get to enjoy their money, it's because of their gambling addiction. I know not everyone suffers from this, but it is true for many lottery winners, which is true for Evelyn Adams. In 1985 and 1986, Evelyn Adams won the lottery twice in a row and earned a total of $5.4 million, which is quite an accomplishment. Unfortunately, Evelyn couldn't resist the temptation to keep going to the gambling house, and eventually, she ended up burning through her savings. After having numerous gambling sprees in the Atlantic City casino and failing in some business ventures, her fortune eventually vanished into thin air. In 2001, apparently, she was seen living in a trailer park with no asset to her name, probably regretting all the money she wasted over the past decades. Can you imagine yourself winning the lottery twice and back to back? That's definitely something you'll only see once in a lifetime. Number 2. A never-ending shopping spree. Viv Nichols, a British lady, won a fortune in Britain's football pools in 1961, £152,000, which is the equivalent of $3 million today. She immediately ordered dresses from Harrods, purchased several luxury cars, and traveled throughout the United States and Europe. After her passing in 2015, her closet was full of haute couture, but her bank accounts were empty, and fortune was nowhere to be found. Although, to be fair, it was long for us to expect the money to be around still. And finally, Number 1. On the creation of a drug empire. How many lottery winners have ended up throwing their money away because of drugs? Probably more than many television media outlets would be willing to talk about. However, Ronnie Music Jr.'s case is not only unique, but is completely unlike anything you've ever heard of. After winning $3 million in Georgia, he used all that money to fund a drug empire, investing in large amounts of methamphetamine. Apparently, our friend from Georgia had watched too much Breaking Bad before winning the lottery. As you might imagine, Ronnie's grand adventure as a drug dealer didn't last long. By 2016, he was under arrest, having won the prize just a year before. Agents who raided Ronnie's property found nearly $1 million in methamphetamine, along with firearms, ammunition cartridges, and several vehicles. He was convicted of federal drug and weapons charges and sentenced to 21 years in prison. Now the question is, what would you do if you won $3 million?